The Desire World or Purgatory by Annie Besant, read by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. The Desire World or Purgatory. This is part of the astral world in which conditions are specialised for discarnate human beings who, unless they have knowledge, are not free in the astral world but are the spirits in prison spoken of by St. Peter. They are held prisoners by their desires, and hence the name of Desire World is given to their abode. We have seen that, at death, the man, clothed in his finer bodies, draws himself out of the physical garment worn during earth life. The coat of skin with which the first man was clothed after his fall into matter, caused by his seizure of knowledge, which things are an allegory, as St. Paul says of the story of Abraham, Sarah and Hagar. Having cast off his coat of skin, the man is himself just as he was while clothed with it, and he goes to his own place in the astral world, the place for which he has fitted himself. A rearrangement of the matter of his astral body takes place automatically, unless he has knowledge enough to prevent it. During the life of the physical body, the astral particles from all the 7 astral subdivisions of matter move freely about among themselves, and some of all kinds are always on the surface of the astral body. Sight of the whole astral world depends on the presence on the surface of the astral body of particles drawn from all 7 subdivisions, which answer to our solids, liquids, gases and the 4 states of ether. These particles are not gathered together and fashioned into an organ of vision, like the physical eye. When the man turns his attention outwards, he sees all over him, through all these particles, or through such of them as are in the direction of the object towards which his attention is turned. Newcomers in the astral world always look through the astral simulacra of eyes, because they are accustomed to turning their attention outwards in that way, just as they move their legs for walking. Both are unnecessary. If the rearrangement of the matter of the astral body takes place, the matter of each subdivision is gathered together, and a series of concentric shells is formed, the densest being outside. Hence the man can only see the subdivision of the astral world to which the outermost shell belongs. The amount of each kind of matter depends on the kind of desires and emotions he has cultivated on earth. If these have been of a low order, the densest astral matter will be very strongly vitalized, and this outermost shell, placing him in touch with the lowest subdivision of the astral world only, will last for a long time. It disintegrates by slow starvation, i.e. by the deprivation of its accustomed satisfactions. Hence, a drunkard, a glutton, a sensualist, a man of violent and brutal passions, having strongly vitalized by physical indulgence, the densest and coarsest combinations of astral matter, can only be conscious of his surroundings through these, and sees only people like himself, and the worst qualities of those who are of a better type. His raging passions can find no satisfaction, because he has lost the physical organs by which he erstwhile gratified them. Moreover, these passions are much more violent than before, for during his physical life, most of the force of the astral vibrations was used up in merely setting in motion the heavy physical particles of matter, and only what was left over was felt as pleasure or pain. Hence all passions are pale and weak on earth, compared with their violence in the astral world, where, after easily setting in motion the light of astral particles, they show the whole remainder of their force as pleasure or pain, as a rapture or an agony inconceivable on earth. This last is what religions call hell, and a veritable hell as to suffering it is, created by the man for his own dwelling place. But it is only temporary, and might more aptly therefore be called purgatory. The thick layer of densest matter wears away, and the man loses sight of this sphere of astral life and begins to perceive the next, having learned by the sad lesson of bitter suffering that the pleasures he valued on earth are verily wombs of pain. The average man does not experience this unfortunate after-death condition, not having drawn into his astral body while on earth much of the densest matter and such of it as he is not strongly vitalized, and it cannot hold him. If his interests on earth have all been trivial, round of office or household drudgery or manual labour, alternating with low, though not vicious, forms of amusement, and he has cared nothing for larger interests, those of community and the nation, he will find him shelled in by matter of the sixth subdivision of the astral world, and will be surrounded by the astral counterparts of physical objects, without the power to affect them or to take part in the earth life led among them. He will, therefore, to use a colloquialism, find himself very much bored and be prey to an intolerable sense of ennui. It may be said that this is hard, as most people have to spend their lives in drudgery of some kind. Are they to be bored after death, having drudged before? True, but a little knowledge will prevent this, and for this very reason Theosophy is being spread far and wide. The work which carries on the world need not be drudgery, and to deeply religious people is not drudgery even now, for all useful work is part of the divine activity, and all workers are organs of that activity. The hands wherewith the divine worker accomplishes his work, production and distribution, agriculture, mining, manufacture, commerce, the pettiest trade, are God's way of nourishing humanity and are the means of evolution. When a man or a woman sees their little daily tasks as integral portions of the one great work, they are no longer drudges, but co-workers with God. As George Herbert sang, "A servant in this course makes drudgery divine, who sweeps a room as for thy laws, makes that and the action fine." Those who thus work will find no boredom after death, but fresh and joyous activity. For the rest, they gradually adapt themselves to the new conditions and are helped to do so, and they find that they are rid of many of the discomforts of earth and may lead quite a pleasant life. They are in touch with their friends on earth and find that these are quite companionable during earth's nights, though provokingly indifferent during its days. As Mr. Leadbeater pithily says, "The dead are never for a moment under the impression that they have lost the living, however much the latter lament the loss of the dead they loved." The man passes on through the sixth, fifth and fourth subdivisions, enjoying more and more association with those he loves, until he passes into the higher subdivisions, the material heavens of the less instructed religionists of all faiths, the region for art, literature, science, philanthropy, and the large interests of life, followed on earth with some selfishness, and here pursued along the habitual lines and with the use of astral reproductions of physical means and apparatus. These same pursuits, carried on for unselfish motives, lift the man into the heaven world, their proper home, and thither also those who followed them more selfishly pass, for when they are weary of them in the astral world, they fall asleep to wake in heaven. The astral body has been cast off, shell after shell, and in due time goes back to its elements like the physical. Some pure and lofty souls pass through the astral world without attending to it, their minds set upon higher things. Others, fully awake, do not allow the matter of their astral bodies to be rearranged, but retain their freedom and perform useful service. Omitting this last class, whose stay in the astral world will depend on other causes, the general rule is that the astral after-death life is long for the undeveloped and short for the well-developed, while the heavenly is long for the latter and short for the former.